All right, let's move on then. Also in the UK last night was Dillian Whyte versus Jermaine Franklin, unbeaten American. This was a controversial moment. I was watching both of these events at the same time, so I was kind of not fully paying attention to both. But from what I was seeing, Franklin looked like he was winning rounds, he was kind of controlling things. And then looking at our scorecards on Fight Night Scores, he's a clear winner on the average. We'll have a look at that in a minute. Alex, we'll start with you. I assume you've watched this. I didn't ask you beforehand, but yeah.
Yeah, definitely. I was locked in. I actually was looking forward to the Parker Ryder fight. This one I think came on. I was interested in the co-main event with Wardley and Gorman, which Wardley got a knockout. Even though Gorman was doing well, couldn't get the power. But anyways, yeah, to me it seemed that Dillian just was okay with being in Gear 1. He didn't seem to be bothered by anything Franklin was doing, but Franklin was outworking him. I think I had it I think the first 6-7 rounds, it was like 5-1, 6-1 Franklin. And it wasn't that Franklin was doing anything particularly special, but he was outworking him. He was countering in the beginning and then just started applying pressure towards the middle rounds. And Dillian, a lot of credit to his defense. He was kind of using a little bit of a hybrid shoulder roll or just catching, front punches here, backhand here. But Franklin was just outworking him. He did push really hard towards the end, and looked like he had Franklin hurt towards I think in that last round. But I felt Franklin deserved the victory. I had an 8-4 Franklin. The worst I could see is a draw, but I felt like it was pushing it because it just Dillian just was not doing enough, especially that first eight rounds of the fight. So to me, it's a robbery. It's extremely controversial, and it's bullshit. AJ was there, Eddie Hearn, obviously. It's his show, and this is the way things go. And I'm tired of saying that, and I don't think it should be accepted. But Franklin, hopefully, he gets another shot. And now they're talking about Dillian and AJ might get another fight in between before they fight each other. So, Jesus Lord, just get in the ring and swing, guys.
Yeah, absolutely agreed. Josh, go ahead. Give us your thoughts on this one, mate.
So I was watching it while I was occupied at points, and then I really caught the tail end in more detail. I don't really have anything opposing. I've seen that a lot of people online have been mentioning that they felt that Franklin won the fight, which I think is good for Franklin in the sense that he wasn't a name or a real known commodity in the sport in the heavyweight division. And this probably puts him over a little bit as it relates to his potential for future matchups with some other names that are out there. I could see that happening in a similar fashion to kind of how Charles Martin ran into a title and all of that stuff, even though this isn't necessarily a title one, but how he became a name at the very least. But I will say that for Dillian Whyte, I mean, it definitely doesn't make one think that he's a true threat for title contention, given this showing as well as his showing against Tyson Fury in his previous fight. And I think he's just kind of in one of those interesting places right now. I don't see him picking up a title. Maybe he fights Anthony Joshua since they have a bit of history and that could do well domestically. But outside of that, yeah, I think we're just seeing a guy who is hovering over the top 10 division, but a guy who isn't going to be a title threat as far as I'm concerned. And eventually, I think he'll become more on the side of who they match some of these younger guys up with. And we'll see how he's able to handle it. But I kind of soured on him in his last showing with Tyson Fury because of the fact that he seemed to not care about the promotion or anything of that nature. And then to go in with a sort of sloppy, lackluster effort, I think that didn't bode well for him. So I've kind of lost any form of sort of, I don't want to say respect, but I've lost kind of that need or want to actually follow him in what he's doing right now, because yeah, he's just in one of those weird spots.
Yeah, I like echo what you guys have said. I feel sorry for Franklin. He's the away fighter and everything's gone against him, and those scores seem puzzling. Alex saying that we could possibly see a draw is quite interesting. I've just got our average scorecard up from our users, and they have it clearly to Franklin by 10 rounds to 2. Alex, you said you had it 8-4. Really, it does seem impossible to see how you could get it any closer, really. And, as you say, AJ was in the attendance. They've been trying to make that rematch for years anyway, and it just seems that was going to be the outcome of that fight last night. Unless there was obviously like a stoppage where it couldn't possibly have been fixed in a way, I guess. So it is unfortunate for Franklin, but he's put himself out there now as a name in the division at least, and he's definitely got ability. We got some comments in the chat here saying that Whyte has always been a domestic level guy, as the Brits would say, and I kind of mentioned in the past where I've never really been too high on Whyte, and maybe he's a little bit better than a domestic level, but I don't think the heavyweight scene has been that stacked with talent anyway, even on the global scale. So he's got up there. He was probably the 4th or 5th heavyweight out there at one point a few years ago, but to me he was always the guy that AJ beat years ago, and there was always pushing to try and get that rematch eventually, and now it's going to come to fruition. I feel sorry for Franklin. He should get a rematch really next, if we're being honest, and we'd all love to see Wilder versus AJ as the next fight. And I'm pretty sure I saw a tweet from Wilder saying as such potentially earlier on. I'm not too sure if that's me making things up though. So yeah, it wasn't a great decision, and ahead of that decision I kind of tweeted out there saying, I think it was at the end during the 11th round, saying, if this goes the full distance, all eyes are on UK judging once again. And then as it came to be, a lot of people were saying, I'd like to say I'm surprised, but I'm not, and there was lots of tweets around that kind of same kind of thing. So that kind of tells you that you need to know about the state of UK judging and officiating, unfortunately. But we move on. Hopefully Franklin gets another chance in the future. He seemed like he was a nice guy in his interview. I've not seen press conferences, but he seemed calm. He wasn't dead angered and annoyed. He did just say that I felt I was robbed. Calmly explained it, and yeah, hopefully he gets another chance along the way and we see him again in some good fights.